Do your thing, whatever.
I'm trying to think of a way to trick you into saying you have AIDS. What is the name brand for those adhesives you put on a cut?
I have AIDS.
That might be the skit. I think that's hilarious.
Can you include where you say, how am I going to trick you into saying?
Yeah,
okay.
that's
then that works. For which movie? For the Crazies?
Doesn't matter. For the next 10. All right, guys, here we're going to talk about the movie The Crazies.
Bring me love, bring me sunshine.
2010's The Crazies. Have you seen this reboot?
No, I have not seen the original ever, and I had not seen this version. I think I'd seen the trailer and I wanted to, though, but I ended up just never getting around to it.
Yeah, I caught this one when it came out. I was told it was a must-watch, and I definitely enjoyed it then. I like Timothy Olyphant. I think he's generally good in everything.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen him where he's bad. He's different, and I'm like, wow, he's an actor.
What are you, some kind of actor? No, I'm way behind because I like him a lot. I have never seen Justified, which is one of his modern things everyone always talks about. So yeah, no.
Also stars your boy, Walter Goggins.
Who? That sounds familiar. Who is that?
He's on like Sons of Anarchy. He plays like the transvestite lady.
Sons of Anarchy, you played transgendered Venus Van Dam. We have a picture here. And
he's in like a whole bunch of movies. He's always like this kind of hick-looking dude that's like smarter than the average guy, and he can get you with his acting. Like, he's good. You'd know if you like. I know you like this guy. I just can't think of enough examples to grab you on him.
Sounds like my type of guy.
That's your type of guy.
No, but in this, Timmy's great. I think the whole cast is great.
Yeah.
His wife. He's got a deputy. There's some other people and some cameos by a few other people. Like.
No, it's definitely worth a watch. You know, like if you're existing in the current climate with this pandemic going on, you're kind of used to the idea of a virus infiltrating your zone here, the government lying to you. It's kind of got all this airs of I could believe this kind of stuff happening.
It's another one. It's shocking how many movies you go back and like it's not even like this. It's kind of the main thing, but honestly, there's so many movies where the precursor to a horror thing or something's involved there where you're like, oh, that's kind of on the nose. Oh no, this is it's hitting kind of close to home now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And like you might be played out on zombie movies, but like if you like a zombie movie, this is like a refreshing take on that. It is that like that rage virus thing you're thinking of.
28 Days Later, sort of.
You know, people able to plot and craft and use tools, but not care about anything and be totally psychotic.
I think it has a good take on the whole sort of format of this type of movie, right? So I was gonna come in and say like, after watching it, I thought I liked it, but then after I thought about it some more, I realized I love it, or something like that. But my feelings aren't maybe that strong, but I was impressed with this because it's not that old, but I think it holds up, and it's like like you said, a good watch.
I would recommend it. So if you've seen it or don't care, falls over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video, and we eat the competition.
All right, guys, here we are for the spoilers of The Crazies. So, like, right off the bat, this movie jumps off with a, like, hey, do you see that he's married and he's a sheriff? Like we don't have time to tell you these things in like a proper way. Let's just zoom in on the arm patch, zoom in on the wedding band.
I like that.
Okay, we got you.
You don't like that?
It felt so much of like, look, here, take your, like, get your head, stupid, look at this thing.
I liked it, because this feels like a real movie in a lot of ways.
It is a real movie.
I know, but like, to me, that's the kind of thing a real movie would do. And like a bad horror movie would be like, hi, wife, oh, you have to go to your job as being a
sheriff?
As being a cop?
This felt like the real version of a movie version of that to me.
Yeah,
Something about that. Like, it was just like, come on.
It was definitely
explicit. If you pan out and he's in a cop car, I'll be like, oh, look, he's a cop.
Yes,
if I see his hand and care, he's married. If not, 2 minutes later, you're going to see his wife, and I'll go, oh, look, he's married.
He'll be kissing his wife.
Yeah. It just felt like a little weird to me.
I noticed that, too. It didn't bother me, but I see why you would say, like, that's very explicit. That's very overt, right? Yeah.
It's too much. I did love the, like, oh, no, the sheriff drinks for free.
No. Sheriff never pays for coffee.
Well, that's kind of you, Ben.
which would have been enough for a fun exhibition because it then is accompanied with the line with like your ticket still has to get
the
paid.
principal still pays all of his parking tickets.
The principal still has to pay his parking tickets. Start him a tab.
Put a tab for him.
Start tab. Yeah, no, I like that.
Like
too.
that would have been a better way of letting me know he's like the sheriff.
Well, they throw them all out there, and then different people catch different ones. You see.
The problem is when you catch every one of them, it's
There's
like hitting
something-
every branch on the exhibition tree as you fall out of it.
Yeah, so then you're the safest when you get down to the plot. That's
Now
how
you're
it works.
broken and bloodied at the bottom, going, oh, why?
No, it absorbs the impact. Come on, this is textbook whatever. The movie wastes no time. We get down to a situation, and it I think really effectively introduces the concept here.
Yeah.
Right. There's not 20 minutes of like living our normal lives or whatever. Right. You get like a quick
almost none.
scenes. I think it's within the first 5 minutes. You've
I
got,
would agree.
Hey, there's like a ball game, and who's that? Double take from somebody. Wait, old
This
man,
is the
whatever.
most unrealistic part for me. So the deputy sees the guy in the corner with a shotgun coming up. The idea that Timothy Olyphant wouldn't immediately have clocked that guy, I think that's bullshit. We all know that he has eyes like a hawk.
Okay.
That pierce through my soul.
Yeah, I just said like I'm not sure who exactly noticed it because in my head
it was the deputy.
Yeah, because in my head I was like I don't think it was Timothy Olyphant, which is weird. So don't mention it. Yeah.
Then he
Okay.
drops his coffee.
Yeah.
He also is a man who wouldn't waste or litter. I know this about him.
Well, he comes back to the scene of the crime later. The crime being littering.
The littering, yeah.
He takes the mug, dumps it out because that's biodegradable, and then takes the cup with him. Yeah. Exactly.
No, but I do really like that. I think
liked
it is effective. I think the way they display this crazy level of the crazies.
Yeah,
Like it's a slow turn where you seem to lose all reason, all inhibitions, and just want to kill indiscriminately.
I have like bones to pick with like how does the virus affect people? Because it seems to
Differently,
be
it seems.
it seems to be off or whatever.
I think that's how things would work. Different
feels
people would have
realistic,
different
but yeah.
tolerances. One of the only things, like as we're in spoilers now, I'm going to spoil a different movie for the original one.
Oh my God!
Is there's a character like the deputy who like rides it out a while and it's just like he's kind of unhinged and crazy, but he's just helping us a lot. He's taking out all the bad guys.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I don't remember really much that was the same.
Okay.
So I think that's cool. Like I
I'm
didn't walk
interested to see
into
the
it going,
original,
"Oh, I
yeah.
just got spoiled. I know this movie, the whole plot." Like it's totally different.
Yeah, I think that the concept works a lot and is interesting to me.
Yeah, it's horrifying, honestly,
yeah.
because I love zombies, but again, zombies don't really scare me. I could destroy all the zombies. I'm an intelligent person. I'm fast. I have weapons. You're dead, zombie.
And
I'm sorry.
modest.
But people, especially people that can use guns and logic and plot and plan, like the guy who fills his house with gasoline and burns his family alive, like.
What the hell happened here? Oh my God. Oh God.
These are things that I'm like, well, I couldn't beat that because a mob of that means I'm dead. Three people like that could just surprise me while I'm sleeping. Oh, they burned my house down.
No,
I was safe.
And just like the chaos of it, because later the guys who are like the hunters are hunting like people. And they're enjoying themselves and doing it right. Because the first few people just kind of become catatonic and sort of like robotically go through this violence. And it feels like, okay, is this what it is? It doesn't seem like it's obviously scary, but it feels like, whatever. But then you get to see all the different versions of it throughout the story. And you're like, okay.
And I wondered, and it was never really explained as different things. You do get a cool thing where it's like, oh, the houses that are closest to the water supply, they got affected first.
I hate this part.
And I'm like, okay, but how does it work? Because do people farther away, are they getting a trickled down dose?
Right.
So are the ones that are more human like that? But then you think, well, the hunters were literally in the water and touched the body where it came through. So did they get a super dose and that's why they maintain their humanity and more other things? There's no explanation. It's just me grasping for straws and trying to get something.
No, and I don't like that because they have to go and it's mercifully quick. It's not a big sidetrack thing, but they go to the municipal thing and he has the water comes from the north and he has to fucking do the map, and then they go to that farm. They have to go to the mayor, who's the guy from Jaws now, where it's like, we ain't shutting the water off, what the fuck? And then he has to go
But at least this
shut the
guy's
water
thing,
off.
this makes
This is a farming community. It is springtime, it is planting season. You turn off the water, you're going to kill the crops. You kill the crops and you bankrupt every family in Pierce County.
Makes a lot more sense than the Jaws guys thing.
Yes.
Like, in quotes. But
he's just filling the role, I mean,
Yes,
of the
yes,
Jaws
yes.
guy, where they're like, I think the water makes people sick now or something, and the one guy, and like, as if like that, like the water goes to the first guy's house and stops, and then like goes to all the other people's houses, and then like 40 minutes in, the wife's like, I think it's airborne now, and I'm like, what the fuck, who cares? Why do we go through all this stuff with the houses and the order of the water flow
Well,
table?
and he does turn off the water to the town.
I think this one might cost you your job.
Yeah.
And like that would be noticed immediately.
Right, which has no effect either. It's crazy. It's
No,
just
well,
more
rather
stuff.
quickly, the town is completely empty and
Yes.
infected, like instantly almost. Because like he gets back and he's like, "All right, where is everybody? There's someone on a
Yeah.
bicycle that just looks like a drunk child."
Wonderful, and our Lord loves them all.
Okay, yes, like the streets are empty.
Yeah.
There's some, there's some crazy lady on like a bike, like singing to herself, and then like a not a van, but like the black van government like thing there, right, in the SUV, whatever. Like, okay.
Which makes
right?
me unclear because especially with how established that base is, where they are bringing people, like. Are the streets empty because they already did a first round of picks?
That's my assumption.
Because they're far too empty if that's not what it was. But then it's like, well, why is that one person who's clearly just riding on the street near one of your SUVs not like getting radio? Hey, I got one right here. Like they didn't take this
Well, they show
pandemic
pictures or something, right? Yeah.
properly at all. Because even when it's all said and done and healed, like they blow up the town. The idea that anybody could ever have escaped means you got problems because this spreads so fast.
They
And
have
yes, it only
tried,
lasts 48 hours, but
they've certainly tried to contain it. They nuke the town and they blow up the car. After the car wash, which I think is also bad, and the car like rolls out of the car wash and then the helicopter blows it up. In my head, I was like, well, they weren't in it. Oh, do they know they're not in it? Oh, is that going to be? Oh, they don't care. They're just disabling all the vehicles to make sure that the people can't leave before they nuke it. I'm like, okay, great, perfect.
I thought that was a fantastic insult to injury moment because you just had a woman get ripped from the car by a hose and like hung.
Yeah.
She died really quickly. I don't think that pull was enough that it would have snapped her
break her
neck.
neck?
I don't think so. I don't know if she had like some frail, brittle bone neck disease. Maybe.
She's got bones like a bird.
But being pulled, like if I pulled you by your neck, it wouldn't snap instantly, and then the weight of her body shouldn't snap it on its own. It's the drop that breaks your neck, and she didn't have a drop.
Right, she just kind of fell out of the car and was on the neck. I know, and the whole thing's whatever. That's what I mean. Like, that's, as the movie goes on, it gets more about, like, action, and it gets bigger up until we have a literal fucking nuke or whatever.
I thought
and, like,
the last 20 minutes, and I know you're not a big fan of the ending, it peters, where they're trying to build action. I feel like they're actually losing it, because the less people you have, the less it really impacts me. I think it's only scary when it's a lot of people. When it's one-on-one, I'm like, well, they just took on the whole army and they survived. I don't think this is going to be a problem.
Okay, interesting.
And they do stupid thing upon stupid thing.
So when they're in that truck stop and the guy's like, he hears something and turns around and she's hiding in like the freezer.
Yeah.
That's like bad to you, right?
It's getting worse by the moment, honestly. And the idea that they're sitting in the diner where like they know they're like wanted by anything alive.
True.
Literally anything alive. The good guys, bad guys, it's all bad guys to them.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in the window seat. And I'm like, what are you, an idiot?
Yep.
Be hiding. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, the movie is signaling to us that this is a quiet moment for like reflection. I think to pull the rug out from under us.
Yeah.
But I'm not at all.
No,
yeah,
there was
I was never.
I was sitting there. I'm
made
more
it.
tensioned that you're. I'm like, why are you in the window? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
God.
And that, well, because for me it was that they split up. Or like you're the
Oh,
last
they
two.
split up constantly. And why would you ever split up?
And he's like, I'm gonna get the truck, and she's like, I'm good. I'll stay here and drink a water. I'm like, what are you doing? That's crazy. Yes. Which is, because they've been relatively smart earlier in the movie, right? She's a doctor, he's the sheriff. They both seem like they got a good whatever on their shoulders.
Good heads on their shoulders.
I didn't want to, they seem book smart, you know what I mean? Compared to some of the other yokels and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, and she's talking about like, the incubation period and the infection and how it's worked, how it spreads and stuff. So I was like, okay, they're doing whatever. And then, they get very dumb. There's a lot of fights. Like Timothy Olyphant has to fight like,
Bubba.
Clegane guy underneath the pit of the thing and shove the thing back
did
and
love
forth.
so often the thing I hate about when people get lit on fire is like all of a sudden you're like, oh, they're wearing a bald cap now and they're covered in some fireproof gel. This looks stupid. But the moment before this guy gets set on fire, he coats him in oil, and that's what is set on fire. So I was like, that was a beautiful like to hide the thing. Like that character was bald already, and he was greasy, and now he's on fire, and all of that works out to be a really nice shot. I would fear you would light your truck on fire from doing that, because it is up on the lift, potentially with leaking things and this and that. Who is to say?
Yeah.
But you were about to get shot, so I'll let it slide. He hits that guy in the fucking head with like a wrench or something, like hard as fuck, and that guy's like,
He does not care. It's literally like from a Game of Thrones or something, or some other genre where you hit the person and they go, ugh, and they're just whatever. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, what is this virus doing exactly? What's happening?
Yeah.
Real quick though, before we move from this part of the movie, I did really like the shot where the wife is like outside crying and like Timothy Olyphant comes over, like, what are you doing or whatever, and she just has a handful of brass and it's everywhere, and then they do the weird CG thing, but they pull the camera through like a hole in someone's head, and like charred corpses are all in the back of this thing.
Everyone was killed.
Yeah, they killed even these quote unquote like
healthy people,
good people, right? And I'm like, did they only do that after the containment breach at the tent city thing, or was that always
what was
the
unclear to
plan?
me, because I was like, they did this in such a half-assed way. It could have been like the plane went down, nuke it. Like, I don't know why do any of this stuff. It seems like such a ridiculous.
I think the incompetence or the inconsistency works, and you always complain about not knowing stuff, so I figured you were gonna do that. But okay, here's my central complaint with the movie. I like that the movie feels like we are on the ground, quote unquote. If I use this analogy, it'll work in a second.
Okay.
With people seeing things happening around them, and we don't have this, like in a movie you would have like a view from like above to see everything, right? And you would understand stuff that individual characters don't, but here, the way they were going street to street and house to house and making their way, learning things but not even really knowing, like, wait, what was that? I don't know what's going on, right? Was like very cool. But the movie from way too early on shows you like aerial, it's not satellite, but it's like aerial photography.
No, it's supposed to be, I think, satellite.
Well, they show planes too, I'm not sure what's going on, but yes.
I took that as like a satellite, and like I gave it credit though, because it did the thing where it went like population this, and like a guy had just died, and it didn't do like the and like drop one number, and I was like okay, thank you, movie. And then even later when it did it again, it still had everything normal. It didn't go like it wasn't keeping track. Well, but they're clocked leaving. It's like the after the movie ends.
So
they're sending in another team to kill them.
So I didn't like this like so early, like it's cool that the government is the bad guys, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't like you knowing that from like 5 minutes in, where it's this weird,
that's
what's going on? What's happening here?
But
the ending is great, because the end of a horror movie is supposed to be like, oh, there was one more egg, or like, oh, someone stole the book, or oh, what is it? Oh, Jason's gone, so he's still out there, right? And here, the like little thing you just said is like, oh, now there's another city that like the government's the villain, the government's the bad guy, right?
What the fuck is going on here? All they said is that there'd been some sort of accident. My whole unit got flown in. We didn't even know what state we was in until we seen the license plates.
Right? They're gonna now do this to this, Cedar Rapids or whatever, this like giant city, right? Compared to this little town.
And it's nationally broadcasted, like in that after the credits thing, where like you see the news and like there's a zombie guy.
It's a cover up though. Well, but it's a cover up. Where it's like, oh, a chemical plant exploded, and you're like, oh man, like the government is the bad guy.
Currently know an explosion rocked the Dacon Pendrell chemical plant early this morning, with eyewitness reports of a 400-foot fireball that lit up the sky.
That's so good. That's so
as
timely.
It often is.
But like in a pseudo zombie movie, as we're calling it, right? I like, and that's probably the inspiration from the original, where it's like, no, the system is the bad guy, where because the guy says like, listen, we lost a plane. What do you want from me? We're here to help. Leave me alone.
It's designed to destabilize a population. In this case, the wrong one. Look, fella, we lost a plane. What do you want me to say?
Like he's so crass about it. We're like, holy shit, everyone's dead, you stupid bastard. Yeah.
I don't know why that guy was even there. Like
it's so dumb.
It's
just for the plot. It's so clunky, yeah.
And like things can happen, but a lot of that stuff, like how things would work, and you need to know that like, oh, since we lost containment, that's why this happened. Like might make me hate some of the actions of our government more, like less, but just seeing how we relate to like everyday things that should be easy to solve, like pandemics. I guess this could actually be how it would work out.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to something of like, well, they almost do this, where like you're rooting for the people to get away because that's good, but then, oh, this too, damn, I thought Timothy Olyphant was going to be infected.
He should be.
Because of that, where he stabs her in the neck, he has a huge hole in his hand, and he uses the knife that's still through his hand to stab her in the neck, and then pulls it out, and then rubs it.
I call that the old how to get infected kill.
Yeah. So, like, to me, and like, you know, I just mentally did it live here for you, right? Is like, maybe that is what the movie's about, where like you're rooting for the characters to get away, but they're infected, and that's actually bad. Much like we in like real life could be ill-informed, and you're rooting for this when really the truth is that or something.
No,
but
in actuality, since the government wasn't intending to spill this virus and to make everybody like, you know, die from it, and it was an accident, and they are trying to stop it. They are the good guys, and they should kill everyone in this town just to make sure the Earth doesn't fucking die. Right. I guess. Because it's not even just that it makes you rage-filled for 48 hours. You die after that.
Yeah. You know, you will die, and you will kill as many people as you can in those day and a half.
Which people you don't kill are probably now infected too.
Yes. But there's no tease that Timothy Olyphant's infected, and you've been rooting for the wrong people.
Nor her.
And well, yeah, but I'm just like, oh no. And like, maybe it's supposed to be ambiguous, but I think it's too highbrow for me to really feel that whole thing. So the ending between the crazy nuke and all the stuff leading up to it, and then the containment procedure, I'm kind of like, I love the government being the bad guy, but I don't have this feeling in the pit of my stomach of like, oh no, I wanted my, you know, Timothy Olyphant to get away, but he just sealed the fate of this new city, right?
It reminds me a lot of Dawn of the Dead, like the newer Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Even with the ending with like, you know, like how the footage is and this and that, I'm like, yeah, nobody wins, we all fucking die, whatever. Did you think it was strange? There's a part where the young girl, like the nurse's assistant, is like coughing in the back, but like there's forceful like fake coughs, and I was like, what? Well, I didn't know what to believe. It was like you know, guilty or bad actress was my thing. Where I was like, is she supposed to be sick right now, or is she trying to be like, he's sick? I don't know what her thing is. No. Anyway, I look at it, I'm like, that was weird.
So I don't know who this actress is, but she is in like 100 episodes of The Flash, which tells me that she is bad. Because she doesn't do a lot here for me to know really if she's bad.
Not in it very much.
So I think she's just coughing. She has a tickle in her throat, allergies, some dust on the road. Who knows? The whole point of that scene is supposed to be that Russell, the deputy, is like, fuck's going on with her? And you're like, oh shit, fuck's going on with him, right? But yes, it's so distractingly bad.
But you were already like, coughing. It wasn't like that was the tell for Russell. We already had thoughts on Russell. Because Russell's going crazy in the car, shooting out, like when they're in the...
Well, no, but it has to keep...
the car wash?
It has to keep building, and we have to keep seeing Russell doing stuff and them relating to him differently. I love the Russell subplot where he's infected.
Yeah.
That's super dope to me. But I'm agreeing with you that I was distracted because she's coughing and also not responding to Russell in this really weird way.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, what are you trying to tell me here?
What do you mean by that?
Don't lose your head.
What do you mean by that, Chief?
It's very strange.
When Russell is shooting through the window in the car wash, and he's like, I saw movement! And Timothy Olyphant goes, everything's fucking moving! I was like, that's the best line of the movie.
It's really good.
I saw movement! Everything is fucking moving.
I saw movement. No, Russell's whole like arc up until his like grand fall, and then his like real, because that's why too, like I like it, but I'm kind of like, what does this virus do to you? Does it make you do whatever you always wanted? Is that why the hunters hunt and the husband kills his wife because they're in like a loveless marriage? Like, what am I reading into this?
I don't know exactly, but I hear what you're saying.
Because he snaps out of it, like from that point on, he's no longer infected.
I'm not right, am I?
Right?
Yeah.
Like, for all intents and purposes. He's like, can I walk with you for just a little while?
Can I walk with you guys? Just a little while longer? Please?
And it's a good performance. I like it and all that stuff. I'm like, can you snap out of this virus?
They have him walk behind them. I would have him walk in front of me. That's a weird move.
Like a reversal of the earlier thing where not sad though. Yeah.
But so Russell is like my MVP, where I'm like, that is a down to ride friend. Like from the jump, like, all right, we gotta go on a suicide mission to get my wife back. Let's do it, boy.
Ross, she's pregnant. It's about time. I'm gonna go get her. Oh, fucking yeah, let's go to the high school.
Let's go.
And like saving him left and right, doing all this jazz, eventually killing himself to give them a chance to go.
I'm done. I'm gonna die here no matter what. So let it mean something. Let it mean that you two made it. Give me that.
I don't know why he took the bullets out of the gun just to make them guilty.
I was about to say, and he's such a mensch that he took, because he knew, like, you know, once lead starts hitting my vest, I'm gonna start to maybe pull the trigger.
Didn't want to.
I don't want to accidentally kill one of these people because I can't live with that, right? I gotta die clean, all right?
I guess.
So he takes the bullets out. That to me put it on this other level where, like you're saying, like, yes, he's a stand-up ride or die guy, and like I think it's more realistic if he says, I am a murderous, killer, but I have enough left in me to realize I should murder them instead of you, Timothy Olyphant, run. That's more realistic. But this is more like melodramatic, where he's like taking the bullets out, hands up, get me, let's go. I'm a deputy, I'm this and that, whatever. Okay, and like goes out there.
But what didn't make sense was why force them to death by coppet? Like,
just to distract them. Yeah.
I guess I feel like he could have distracted them for potentially longer alive and had like 8 of them restraining him and doing stuff.
Like running or something.
And he doesn't know if there's a cure or not, because at this point, like, a lot of people have died, and if you're gonna potentially death by coppet anyway here, why not hope there could be something else? Or I don't know. It seemed like an interesting way to do it.
Deputy Russell Clank, the Pierce County Sheriff's Department. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not sick.
There's also a line though where someone says he's still breathing, and then they like someone pulls a gun out, like, okay, let's fix that.
Yeah.
They're not trying to save him.
No. But he didn't know that going in, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Fuck you for what you did.
I love a line also.
He has accepted his death fully. Yeah.
Timothy Olyphant says, like, don't ask me why I can't leave my wife, and I won't ask you why you can.
Tell you what, Kev, don't ask me why I can't leave without my wife. I won't ask you why you can.
And I was like, that's a great line.
That's a wonderful line. That stood out to me a lot too, right? Like, tell you what, Kev, and then says that, right? Like it's this whole like thing, yeah.
The most horrific moment of the movie is probably being tied to a bed and a dude with a pitchfork is just stabbing people to death.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I was like, this is a great, like, tension-filled moment. And you know the wife isn't going to die, but you don't know if the assistant's not going to die.
Yeah.
So, like... That was pretty good. And you could even be like, even at this point, to be injured. Let's say like he just stabbed you in the leg. Like, there's a lot of odds stacked up against you right now. And you're probably not getting out of there. And we know you're pregnant, so you're feverish because of that. But if you were to get a slight nick or cut, they probably aren't letting your ass live because you probably got it now.
Yeah, and at this point, you're not sure how it's going to go and stuff.
No.
Now, there's a lot of awesome scenes. The scene where Bill, I think, kills his family with the fire and stuff like that. The whole thing, when the kid's like, he has a knife, when she's trying to, like her in front of the wheat thresher with the lights and the
That
noise
is the most unrealistic shit where I'm like, that is not proper wheat thresher etiquette. She gets within like 3 feet of it and shouts at him.
Yes.
Like, if she just sneezed, her head would go into the blade. Like,
I thought it was a very powerful shot.
It's a good shot, but I'm like, I don't think any career farmer would ever do that.
But then when the kid is like, he has a knife.
He has a knife.
And all that stuff, and they're hiding in the closet, and then to have like the reversal where like the fire's now going, and you just see the doorknob of the closet going crazy because he's locked them in, or they're locked in now, or whatever.
Did you think
I was like, damn,
that was realistic though? That, like, how the mother reacted. So like the kid says he has a knife. Now this is your husband of at least you'd think that the amount of the child's been alive, so like 7 years or whatever, that you have some sort of a trust. And yes, maybe there's something gone wrong with him. You suggested he went to the doctor. He might get an EKG or whatever the fuck they said. Back at the big city when I go there this weekend.
But I've got to see a patient in Cedar Rapids on Monday.
I want to take Bill in to get a CT scan. Monday? Yeah.
But I feel like anyone would be like, what do you, and like go check on the husband and not immediately think he's gonna murder us.
I think, well, so I took that the opposite way, where that was the signal to me in the audience that no, he's been acting really weird for several days, and she's like, oh shit, like this is it or something.
That's how they displayed it. But I feel like most wives, especially like a strong farmer wife, would be like, let me go help him.
Let me go
pray away.
He probably just needs to cut something.
Yeah.
I'll help him. You stay here. To like the kid,
yeah, something. Throw him out the window.
I like too that when the cops get there, like the fire department guy says, "We got here. Bill was mowing the fucking lawn."
When we got here, there was an empty gas can just sitting out front. And Bill, well, he was mowing the goddamn lawn.
Yeah.
And he's like humming something. Oh, that's a great. I forget the details, but he's humming like the ants go marching, blah blah blah. I think. And then it cuts to like people, like the hunters going, through the swamp. Good editing thing. Sorry.
The worst shot, I think, of the movie is when they're going to check what the hunters found, like looking for like where the plane could have gone down, and he's like, "Stop the boat." Why? We're right on top of it.
It's a big plane, Russ.
Why is that?
Because we're right on top of it.
and like you look to the left, and part of it's not in the water. I'm like,
couldn't
you just see that? It's you're on open water, and there's a wing sticking out. What do you mean, why? It's obvious.
Yeah, and I didn't get a good look at it until it switches to satellite view, where you can see more of the shape of it or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, like a part is jutting out before that.
Yeah, the tip of the wing is out of the water.
Yes, and like propeller or something like that. Yeah.
It's such a I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't there on set, so you didn't know to be like what or something, because like clearly they didn't actually put a boat in the water. Like that's fake. But those kind of things just really irk me. Like must be a big plane. Why do you say that? Because we're right on top of it.
It was an attempt at something that I don't think worked super well.
No.
I did not like the coroner fight scene with the saw and stuff like that.
Which part? I thought the pulling the cord was interesting.
Oh yeah. No, like the cord is okay. Like the fight's okay. I felt like the setup and the weird like guy from like Event Horizon looking all sewed up guy.
The priest.
Look behind you.
Behind you.
And all that stuff. I'm like, that's...
How did he even know it was behind? His eyeballs are sewn shut. Is he using sonar?
No, nothing like that. That felt like it was out of a different movie, and I didn't like it. And then the fight, I think with the saw like crawling along the tile floor, I thought was a little much. Like,
that happens.
Yeah, but that whole scene for me was kind of like, I don't like this as much as other parts of the movie that I liked a lot more.
He kills that guy, the first guy that dies, and he's genuinely sorry. He doesn't want to kill him. He thought he was drunk. But, he did have a 0.0. He wasn't a former alcoholic. He didn't drink. But when he apologized to that guy's wife, the wife slaps him in the face, and the face he makes when he gets slapped is so good.
Is that what you told him, that he was drunk? I like that because it indicates part of how the virus works, right?
Yeah.
That like... he appeared drunk to him, like the unresponsiveness and the weirdness and all that stuff.
How else would you explain that behavior? You would want him to have at least been drunk. Do you think he's just crazy?
Exactly, right? I like that, because this could be in the movie just for no reason, but it's not, right? Later, and this hints too, like his family is infected, clearly. They have like the vein lines and all that weirdness.
Yeah. This was the gun that killed your father.
But they have the wherewithal to want revenge.
Yes.
The reveal of the widow behind I almost said Rick Grimes' wife, Timothy Olyphant's wife, that she's just quietly in the room, just standing there. I was like, oh, this is great. This is amazing.
That whole bitch in the baby room was like my mental note for that.
Bitch in the baby room.
And I love that because like you see that split second of that lady, but then the next thing you see is the kid, and you're like, wait a minute. What the fuck? And the kid looks different enough that you could be like, wait, who the fuck is that?
Oh, true.
But the mom looks You could tell it's exactly the same
And the
person.
kid may have no lines. You know,
I don't think he talks at all.
Old man, whatever's adult son.
Yeah.
No, and then like Timothy Olyphant gets like a little, and I love that he doesn't call out to her. I think he just gets a little like something's wrong, and then goes upstairs.
Yeah.
And he, you know, he's not honey. He's not like shouting because he knows that's like he's like a cop. He's like that's bad. So he's like checking and going. I'm like,
he's relatively
cool.
smart. That's like when the cell phone dies and the thing's dead, the internet's not working. He goes, I think we're in trouble.
He's like,
you know what? What? We're in trouble.
We're in trouble.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
I love
He's got
that.
A good thing.
I love the notice.
Yeah, the pacing of that and how it unfolds is like really, really good.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Okay, here's the deal.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions, you can